There's a clay tablet in a museum right now, about 4,500 years old, small enough to hold in one hand, covered edge to edge in tiny wedge-shaped marks pressed into the mud before it dried. And buried in those marks, written by someone whose name we'll never know, is a description of two people kissing. That tablet shouldn't be that old, because kissing feels like the most natural thing a human can do. Instinctive, built in, something you do even if no one ever taught you. But the deeper you dig into where it came from, the stranger it gets. We don't really know when it started. We don't even know if it's something all humans do. And the harder scientists look, the further back it reaches. Past the tablet, past writing, past humans entirely. Picture the moment, the half-second before a kiss. Two people lean in, eyes half-closing, breath held. It's the most ordinary romantic gesture on Earth. It's in films, on billboards, in the corner of weddings. You've almost certainly done it. And you probably never once wondered where it came from, because why would you? It feels like it was always there. It wasn't. That's the first crack in the story. For a long time, the earliest clear evidence of romantic kissing was traced to ancient South Asia, texts from around 1500 BCE describing lovers pressing their mouths together. That became the textbook answer. Kissing began somewhere in that region. About 3,500 years ago, the story went, then slowly spread outward as people migrated and traded, carrying certain diseases with it. Then in 2023, two researchers went back to something much older. Troels Pank Arbal, who studies ancient Mesopotamian medicine, and Sophie Lund Rasmussen published a piece in the journal Science that pulled the date back 1,000 years. They'd gone through cuneiform, the wedge-shaped writing of ancient Iraq and Syria, and found kissing baked into clay tablets from as far back as 2500 BCE. People in the earliest cities on Earth were already writing about lovers kissing and writing about it so casually that it clearly wasn't new to them, even then. One of the oldest sources is a Sumerian creation myth. Two gods lie together, and the text just notes that he kissed her. No explanation. No sense that this was a remarkable thing to write down. It's already part of how these people imagined love and sex and the making of the world. So the textbook answer was wrong. Kissing wasn't invented in one place and shipped to everyone else. By the time anyone first pressed it into clay, it was already old, already ordinary, which makes the next fact harder to explain. If kissing is so natural, so instinctive, why don't all humans do it? In 2015, researchers ran a study across 168 cultures, asking one simple thing: in how many do people actually kiss romantically? The answer surprised a lot of people. Fewer than half. Romantic kissing showed up in only about 46% of the cultures they looked at. In big parts of the world, parts of sub-Saharan Africa, Amazonia, New Guinea, pressing your mouth against a lover's mouth wasn't romantic. It was strange. Sometimes it was disgusting. And when the reactions got recorded, they were blunt. There are accounts of people from non-kissing cultures watching outsiders do it and asking, more or less, why they were eating each other's faces. To them, it didn't look tender. It looked like two people trading spit and germs for no reason anyone could explain. The gesture you'd swear was written into human nature, and almost half the planet looked at it and felt nothing, or worse. So it isn't a universal. It isn't an instinct the way breathing is. So where did it come from, and why do some of us do it at all? Pull a little harder, and it stops being about humans. Go to a zoo, to the great ape enclosure, and watch long enough. Chimpanzees kiss. After a fight, they'll press their mouths together to make up, a way of saying the conflict's over. Bonobos, our other closest relative, kiss far more than that, and far more intensely, using mouth-to-mouth contact as a kind of social glue that runs through the whole group, to calm each other down, to reconnect. Nobody trained them. They do it on their own. So the raw ingredients of a kiss, leaning in, mouth-to-mouth, using that contact to bond, were already there in the primates we came from. In some rough form, the behavior is older than our species. We may have walked out of Africa already carrying it, but there's an older root than that, and it has nothing to do with romance. For most of human history, there were no jars of soft baby food, no way to soften a meal for a child who couldn't chew. A mother with an infant faced the same problem over and over. How do you feed solid food to something with no teeth? The answer, used across countless cultures and still seen in some places today, was pre-mastication. The mother chews the food herself, then presses it mouth to mouth into the baby, lips to lips, food passing straight between them. Some researchers think this is where the kiss actually begins. The gesture we now wrap in candlelight and slow music may have started as plain survival, a parent keeping a child alive, mouth to mouth, maybe millions of times across the generations. And slowly the contact came loose from the food. What stayed behind was the feeling stuck to it. Closeness, safety. The press of lips that once meant here, eat became, somewhere along the line, here, I've got you. A feeding reflex turning into a kiss. It's a strange thought that the most romantic thing you do might be a hand-me-down from the least romantic thing imaginable, a hungry baby and a mouthful of chewed food. And once you see the kiss as a channel between two bodies, the biology gets genuinely unsettling. When two people kiss, they aren't just touching, they're trading information. A single kiss can move tens of millions of bacteria from one mouth to the other. It carries scent, and scent carries data, including, some studies suggest, clues about the other person's immune system. There's research showing we're quietly drawn to partners whose immune genes differ from our own, because mixing different immune systems tends to make children with stronger defenses. And some scientists think close contact like a kiss is one of the ways we sample that chemistry without knowing we're doing it. Reading a person through taste and smell at a range of almost zero. So a kiss is partly a test. A way of getting close enough to sample someone and let some old part of your brain decide, yes or no. You think you're being swept away by the moment. Some of what's happening is closer to your body, checking the other person out, and the answer can land before you've consciously thought a thing. That closeness has a cost, though, and humans worked it out the hard way. Pressing mouths together is also one of the most efficient ways there is to move a disease from one person into another. Cold sores, herpes simplex, have probably traveled with us this way for a very long time, slipping mouth to mouth across the generations. The team behind that 2023 study even pointed out that the Mesopotamians described an illness with symptoms a lot like herpes, though they're careful to say, we can't be sure it's the same thing. What's clearer is that societies noticed the danger. By their account, Mesopotamian sources show people already trying to put rules around romantic kissing. Thousands of years ago, someone looked at this small, tender thing and decided it needed controlling. Look at where that leaves us. A behavior that isn't universal, that nearly half the world finds strange or repellent, that we share with the apes. That may have started as mothers feeding their babies. That floods two bodies with germs and scent and genetic information. That spreads disease well enough that ancient societies tried to limit it. And we still do it, constantly. We seek it out, we miss it when it's gone. We build whole relationships around the promise of it, which leaves the question that actually matters. Not when kissing started, but why it survived all of that. The answer seems to be that the kiss does something we badly need, something worth the risk. Pull someone that close enough to share breath, to smell them, to taste them, close enough that they could hurt you if they wanted to, and you've made yourself almost completely defenseless. Your eyes are shut, every guard is down. A kiss is one of the few moments in human life where two people drop their defenses at the exact same second and trust the other one not to use it. That might be the whole point. Not the romance, the trust. The kiss may have lasted because it works as a small, repeatable proof that you're safe with someone. Here's a person close enough to do real harm, choosing again and again not to. Every strange fact about it, the germs, the disease, the chewed food, the apes making peace after a fight, folds back into that one thing. Lowering the guard, the signal that says we're okay. So the thread doesn't stop at a clay tablet. It runs back through the first cities, past the first writing, through mothers feeding their children mouth to mouth, all the way back to the apes we came from, leaning in to make peace after a fight. Every kiss is standing on all of it. The next time you lean in to kiss someone, hold on to this for half a second. You're not just following a feeling. You're running a program older than language, older than your species, a quiet test of trust that was already ancient when someone first pressed it into wet clay and let it dry. It feels like the most natural thing in the world. The strange part is how long it took the world to become a place where it was.